Welcome to your source for research innovation news, Research Business Daily Report, sponsored this week by Google Consumer Surveys, providing easy answers for every business decision. The May 27th issue of Forbes magazine features a terrific story on Quirky's, a Manhattan-based company, and its CEO, Ben Kaufman. It's a crowdsourcing business that had revenues of $18 million last year, and although it lost money, Kaufman claims sales are going to hit $50 million this year, and that there's a huge chance that it will blow past that number. It's definitely worth reading. So Google, can a crowdsourcing invention company become the best retailer in the world? Next, as JCPenney continues its current consumer apology tour for its awkward and failed pricing policies of the past few years, it's also having to cope with damage that it has done to its logo. According to ePoll Marketing Research, logo redesigns in 2010 and again in 2011 and once more in 2012 have each hurt consumer awareness of the brand. Last year's incarnation dropped awareness to 56%. Finally, a few months ago, we interviewed the CEO of Ipsos's Open Thinking Exchange, Shelley Zalis. Her comments generated the 10th largest viewership of any single RBDR report. That's reason enough to invite her back, but there are more. Last week, we got together on Skype, and Shelley told us why she's less and less intrigued by the word innovation to use to describe her work.
I didn't think that the word innovation and a big global organization went hand in hand. I used to think it was an oxymoron. However, I decided to break it into sound bites and make it all much easier than just one big story. And, my biggest epiphany was to get rid of the word innovation and just call it experimentation. Because if we can do experiments, we can find ourselves moving forward much faster. I think we all need to be innovators. And I think that innovation is very black and white. You have to find this big idea and then innovate it. And innovation takes years and years if it's really delivering on the promise. I think we all need to innovate. And, I used to say that we lived in a world of renovation where dotting I's and crossing T's was good enough. And then I said we migrated to the world of transformation where we needed to transform the way we were doing business. And then, we're now in this world of disruption where, nothing is going to work from the past. But the truth is that's not true. The past and the core of what we do really is, how we're anchored. It's how do we now go from where we are to the next steps and the next steps and add twists and turns along the way. And so it really is about just creating experiments and understanding that the world is not changing, it has changed, and what are the implications. And if we take it step by step, we'll actually embrace it and not run from it. Because I found...
You believe we're kind of in an age of digital Darwinism, I think is the phrase you commonly use.
We will enter into an age of digital Darwinism if we don't either get with the agenda, jump ahead of it, be prepared for it, open our minds to it, we will become irrelevant. So if we want to stay relevant, we need to be embracing all the changes that are happening and not running from them and figuring out how we are going to deal with it.
I've always tried to hire kids right out of college to help me keep up to date with what's changing and such. Are you doing the same thing?
To me, a kid out of college is invaluable the second they show up at my doorstep. And I am learning so much from these digital natives about how they are consuming and engaging with the social ecosystem today and with brands and what they like and what they don't like. And I'm translating all that information into relevance of how I'm integrating sort of this whole world in everything that we're doing. So I think that digital natives today are invaluable to our learning and our progress and our evolution. When the internet popped up, people started saying, we don't need demographics anymore. We need to look for those influencers because it was really based on lifestyle, psychographics, sociographics, more so than just demographics because people online pull the information they want. The problem with that is, how do we know that we are casting our net as wide as possible if we're pigeonholing who we believe an influencer is. So an agency executive told me this recently, which really resonated, and I live and breathe by this today. He said, we're no longer living in a push world of demographic profiling, or even in the pull world where we're pulling in who we believe influencers are. What we need to do is create content that influences in every channel. And if we create content that influences in every channel, we will have many people that we influence based on the content. And then those influencers will influence their sphere of people that they influence.
We have more from Shelley tomorrow about how influencers have changed and research has to adapt to that, what she refers to as Generation C, and her Gumby theory. Don't miss it. That's your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored by Google Consumer Surveys, providing easy answers for every business decision. The link underneath today's RBDR takes you to an animated video that'll explain everything you could want to know about Google Consumer Surveys. Have a great research day and plan on joining us again tomorrow.